Hey kids, this is Jurassic James, and on this Jurassic James Explains, we're looking at the Daspletosaurus. And it's like same rules as go. We have the older here, the newer one here. I only have two, and it's part of the story. But I want to point out that this is actually in a box because I ordered it from a place called Dinosaur Park near Bastrop here in Texas. Now, the story behind that is real funny. Well, to me it is, at least. So, when I was a geology supplemental instructor and tutor in Lone Star College, we would take our students to the hill country in central Texas and look at the different geology things. So heading off from Houston, we would go on I-10 West, go to 71 North towards Austin, and I would see a sign that says like Dinosaur Park something. And every year I would ask my professor like, "Oh, can we like stop there like one year on the way there?" And he's like, "Oh, maybe next year." And we went again. He goes, "Ah, maybe next year, maybe next year." And then one day my wife was like, "You know, honey, you're an adult man with a truck. You can just get in the car and drive there whenever you want to." So I just went there, and they have these life-size models of like Brachiosaurus, Diplodocus, Triceratops, Iguanodon, T-Rex, of course. And the cool thing is that I just love this place because they're actual life-size model of dinosaurs. So they have an online store, and I have the link below. Now, I must tell you, for YouTube reasons, that this is not a paid ad. I do not, they're not paying me. I get nothing from this. I just bought the toy, and they don't know I'm doing this right now, I think. But I just bought the toy. I wanted to show you what it's like because when I take my field trips there, and we do the little tour, I'll always buy toys in a gift shop after we're done. And to the point at which my wife was like, "Hey, you're spending part of your profits on these toys." So because of COVID, I couldn't go there as much. So I realized, oh, they have an online store. I'm just ordering from there. So I want to open this one in front of you. But the idea is that if you ever can go to Dinosaur Park, great place. Again, they're not paying me to do this. I just love Dinosaur Park. But anyway, oh, right. And you must like, subscribe. And if you think people should see more of these videos, you should like, subscribe. So the YouTube can be like, people should see this. So anyway, the Daspletosaurus is a Tyrannosaur. Now, the first one I want to point out is that it's one of those things where I read about T-Rex, I read about dinosaurs, and there's a lot of names that are just not toys. They're out there, you know. Somebody asked me to do a video on Zambiasaurus. I don't have, you know, they don't make that. I mean, I looked it up, I couldn't find the toy, so it's like I can't do a video on it. But the Daspletosaurus is one that, this one is from Collect A company that makes generally smaller models. But what I like about Collect A is they have a lot of different species. Like that's the thing that's really cool. If you were collecting for size or a certain scale, you know, it depends. But if you're looking for just different species, collecting is really great. I ordered this online before I knew Dinosaur Park was around. But it says the Daspletosaurus. What I don't like about it is it's crouching, and I'm guessing what they're trying to do is where most Tyrannosaurid toys are up and running and roaring and they're doing something different. But the Daspletosaurus isn't really well known. I mean, it's known in the paleontology world, but to everyone else, like, who is this guy, right? It lived about 10 million years before T-Rex, and what is now Alberta, Canada, and possibly in Montana. They found some fossils there. They're not sure if they're Daspletosaurus or another Tyrannosaurid, but it's being overlooked probably right now as we speak, or published right now. But this one is really cool overall because what I do like about it is that the idea is the head has these two crests on the front, and Daspletosaurus, I mean, we think that most Tyrannosaurs had some kind of crest or ridge there. T-Rex himself would have had a ridge right before the eye, or around the eye, but this guy has more pronounced. And again, it's a little bit smaller, about 3 meters or 36 feet roughly. So smaller than T-Rex and 2 million years older than T-Rex. And some think it actually evolved into T-Rex, but that's a lot of debate there. But anyway, this one overall was my only Daspletosaurus until I was looking online and I found this one. So I'm going to open it, or quote, unbox it right now with my scissors. Let's see. I mean, did you really think I had any other kind of scissors than this? I mean, it's Jurassic James. They gotta be weird and, you know. So I'm gonna do it this way, actually. So I have, as you know or can see, I have not seen this toy myself other than pictures online. So I'm super excited about looking at it. Let's see. So, other way? This way. There we go. Back in the case. So, I open it upside down. You can see the feet. So it's packed really nice. And again, they have no idea. This is like a secret shopper thing. They have no idea I did this. Cool. They figured out it was me because the thing says, "Hi, Jurassic James." Oh, wait. There's a glare. So it says, "Hi, Jurassic James." So I bought it. I mean, I didn't secret shop it, but I just bought it as James Washington, and then they gave it to me. So, of course. Let's see. Cool. So it's a lot of padding. Really well packed. Okay. So It's in nice packaging. I should unseat my scissors. So we have this, and what's really cool, the plastic here is really great because sometimes with these things in shipping, even before you get to the stores, they have like the plastic might get heated and like warped. So whenever I'm buying dinosaur toys, one thing I always do is I take all the figures of the species I want and I'll stand them up and see which one stands the best, basically. So this is really cool, actually. How I just want to, yeah. Anyway, so here we have my newest Daspletosaurus appreciate like that. So they always come with a little label here, which I always underappreciate this. This is very important for people who don't know paleontology or is kind of newer to it. And it tells you the name. It's from, of course, it's Safari, right? Safari. It's Daspletosaurus. Yep, there we go. It's Daspletosaurus Safari. It gives you like a fun fact on here, and yeah. But that's why I'm here doing, right? So again, compare it to the Collect A. These are the only two Daspletosaurus I'm aware of that are in the market that are reasonable. I mean, sometimes there are some companies that have really expensive models, but this is like within the average kid, family group name, So first of all, to point out this guy, I love that they have the eye crest right over the front of the eye. The eyes are like a bluish color or greenish color. That's really cool. One thing, it has that very general Tyrannosaur stance. That palms, the hands are palm to palm. I like that. That's something that's really important to me now. I forgive Jurassic Park figures from the past, but the three tails in the front, do claw on the back. The tail is great. One of my biggest complaints about like the Jurassic World toys is that the tails are smaller, and I know why. It's for packaging, right? But in general, these tails of these animals should be bigger. They even have the cloaca, the little notch right there. So humans, we in general put pee from the front, poop in the back. Dinosaurs, we believe, had a one hole for everything called a cloaca, which is a Roman word for a Latin word for sewer. So the idea is that that's one way of telling the toys really like they're looking to science is that if there is that feature, because I mean obviously people they're toys, but if it's a model, it's depends on where you are in this. But anyway, so really cool color. I like the texture of the skin. We don't have the Daspletosaurus skin that I'm aware of, but in general it's really cool texture here. Like I said, the jaw is really nice. They have the general Tyrannosaur, but unlike T-Rexes, if like T-Rex is like bulkier than like the most bulky Tyrannosaur, this guy would be more slender by design. And if you look at the skeletons and skulls they have, so really cool. It was discovered in 1921. At least it was thought to be a member of Gorgosaurus, which is another Tyrannosaur, and then realized it was his own genus. But we do have pieces that were found, I think, in 1913. Before that weren't. Okay, so kids, here's a fun fact. So the books say this dinosaur was named in this year. They may have found the bones 2 or 3 or 10 years before, and sometimes like 70 years before, and they didn't get names scientifically officially, or they had the wrong name. They say, oh, it's like this animal, give it this name, like Megalosaurus, and then later on go, oh, it's a different type, like it's Dilophosaurus, like that. Also, like for Tyrannosaurus Rex too, they named the animal, and then they found that it's officially named in 1905. I should do the quotes, but the idea is that there were Tyrannosaurus bits found before that. It's just that they weren't formally named and ascribed to this genus. Same thing with the Daspletosaurus here. I like it a lot. It's really cool. I'm really happy about this. My first inclination is about like 4 of them, but I know they'll make more Daspletosaurus hopefully in the future. They've only made 2 real models ever, Collect A and Safari. So, show them a little love, right? Daspletosaurus. But so what's the big deal with this guy? Because like, wait a minute, I don't even know who Daspletosaurus is. You've heard of T-Rex, which I have, of course, a Tyrannosaurus Rex here. And these are not quite fully to scale. They're from different companies, but you get the idea. So we have the Tyrannosaurus here, and I have Albertosaurus. You never guess where they're found, named after the Alberta, Canada. And we have the Gorgosaurus. Now, from Papa. So these are 4 of they're all Lake Cretaceous, but in general, these 3 are Campanian. They're the second to last stage in Lake Cretaceous time. Tyrannosaurus Rex Maastrichtian is the very end. So that is this line represents the break between these 2 ages was in Lake Cretaceous. So the idea is that they're all smaller. So my analogy to kids usually is that think of the genus Panthera. So we have lions, tigers, leopards, cheetahs. Well, not cheetahs aren't Panthera, but those big cats. So they're all big cats, but they're all like different species. One climbs trees more, one is faster, one. So the idea is that these tyrannosaurs are all related, but they're slightly different species, and there's a whole bunch of fun debate on how they're related to each other. But in some ways, to look at it, this guy lived like alone, as far as we know, unless you describe him now Tyrannus. But these guys actually, the Daspletosaurus would have shared the environment with Gorgosaurus at the same time. Now, whether or not the Daspletosaurus was further south and Gorgosaurus was further north, or they had like one hunted like Hadrosaur duckbills and other hunted ceratopsians, we don't know that at this point. They're still looking to. Well, we know kind of. They found a Daspletosaurus with a juvenile ceratopsian in his stomach, so that's kind of like, yeah, they ate ceratopsians, but you don't want to be judged by your last meal, right? So anyway, that's one thing to point out too. And for the average viewer, to tell these guys apart, I mean, T-Rex is bigger, different time, but in general, only a few people who really study this know the different families in this group. So just be aware, like, don't rack your brain. Oh, I don't know the Daspletosaurus. Look into him; he's really cool. As far as prey goes, or what who you live with, again, Gorgosaurus was time-wise contemporary. There's a dinosaur called Centrosaurus. I do not have a Centrosaurus toy. I have a Styracosaurus, which is the closest thing in my collection. So imagine this, but like without all these horns, well, smaller horns here, different arrangement, smaller nose horn. So that's and it's the same family Centrosaurin. In fact, I'm gonna put in a link to Dinosaur Park's gift shop as well as my Ceratopsian page on my website. So the idea here is that that would have been in the area. So, and of course, there's one that we love or people don't know who it is. It's called Hypacrosaurus, Hadrosaur duckbill. People see the crest and think Cretasaurus, but they're from slightly different ages. All are Cretaceous though, but different parts, different areas. And here's a Hypacrosaurus baby that they actually have studied ontogeny from baby to adult, how they develop. So anyway, but the cool thing is, we know that Daspletosaurus lived with Hypacrosaurus and Centrosaurus. We believe they fed on Hadrosaurus like Hypacrosaurus because there was a couple of finds with that. They found Hadrosaurus and we had Daspletosaurus together. The question then is, were they pack hunting? Were they this Hadrosaurus just died, they were scavenging? We can't really tell that right now. That's when we're looking for fossils, you want to look at the site and how the bones are arranged. The science is called taphonomy, between death and fossilization. So the reason we find a fossil, we don't just dig it up, we look around, and they often will map it out and say how they align. If I can tell you, either you or future paleontologists, that these were washing the river bend and the Gorgosaurus died next to it, or whatever. But that is still being teased out in science. So the main thing is they're contemporary. So you probably wouldn't see Gorgosaurus, you would see eating Stegosaurus, or maybe Parasaurolophus, probably not. But the idea here is that these guys are around the same time frame. So that's kind of a cool thing for me personally. I like studying the exact time frame. The funny thing is that my future plans, like where do I pack my collection in the future? I have a very solidified plan about time periods and environments and all that. But anyway, so that's the Daspletosaurus. This is, again, a beautiful model. I love it. Like I said before, I'm going to put a link in the description to Dinosaur Park's gift shop. I intend to do a couple of field trips there this summer, depending on COVID and everything. But I encourage you to just go there on your own, to go in a gift shop, buy stuff. And I will definitely, if not doing it in the summer, do trips in the fall when it's cooler, unless people were there anyway. But like I said, the idea is that Dinosaur Park's really awesome, and they have a wonderful toy gift shop. I go there all the time. There's stuff I found there that I can't find like online sometimes. It's like, how did you do that? So anyway, and again, not a paid ad. I don't work for them. I just love them a lot and buy their stuff. So here's Gorgosaurus from Dinosaur Park. I just bought it. I just opened it with you. That's a shared experience. I hope you appreciate it. That being said, I'll see you guys later. Bye.